Oh boy, shares of Tesla, they're plunging to end what has been, and this is a polite word, a rough week. A UBS report casting doubt on the ability of the electric vehicle maker to make money on its Model 3. That's sending investors off the road. They're down right now, $30. Those shareholders are already rattled by the 1-2 punch of Charlie Gasparino's reporting on the legal issues facing Tesla from both the SEC and private lawsuits. Elon Musk admitting in an interview with the New York Times that his tweet about taking the company private was not reviewed by anyone else at the company. Legal ramifications, that's where we're going to start. Just how much water could Musk be in with regulators and investors? Former SEC enforcement attorney Elizabeth Nowicki and FBN's Charlie Gasparino are here with me now. We're going to talk about all of this. We're going to go first to Charlie because he has a leg up on this story. If you invest in Tesla, you got to listen to Charlie.
Okay, well, a little bit of breaking news from inside the Tesla legal team. This is sources close to the team. This is what they worry about right now. Two things mainly. They worried about significant pressure on the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, to bring some sort of case against Musk for that funding secured tweet, whether it was accurate or not. There's a lot of evidence that they did not have the funding secured when he said, we want to bring it I want to take Tesla private. We have funding secured, sent the stock market up. There's evidence that that did not comport with reality right now. And they do believe, they worry that that tweet is problematic from an SEC standpoint because of that countervailing evidence that came out. Look at the New York Times story, and then look at Musk's own blog postings about his conversations with the Saudis.
But let me bring in Professor Nowicki.
We should point out Tesla had no comment on this.
Okay, so Tesla, the day of that famous tweet, was trading at, when they halted trading at $358 a share. It shot up to what, 371, 372. Yep. Now we see it down dramatically. But at the end of the day, is the SEC, I mean, you could make the argument that Elon Musk was being transparent, which at the end of the day is what the SEC wants, is it not?
That's correct. That's exactly right. He might have been being an idiot, but he was being transparent. He wasn't trying. The key is, was he intending to deceive, manipulate, or defraud? Was he intending to deceive, manipulate, or defraud? I don't have facts to suggest he was. He was, if anything, being a little bit sloppy, and again, with all due respect, maybe a little bit of an idiot. I read his blog. I read his blog. He lays out what he was thinking. He lays out what he was relying upon. And we all know that blog was vetted by lawyers before it went up.
Well, the blog was different than his tweet. I mean, listen, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Elizabeth, but he does have some. If you could make a case that there is somebody, there's a certain class of investors that he wants to crush.
Shorts, the shorts. David Einhorn.
David, he sent the. Did he send a?
Sent him shorts. He sent him shorts, and Einhorn said thank you.
I'm just saying that he's had a long-running dispute with the shorts. He's openly disdainful of them, and if there was one thing that could squeeze the shorts, is a share, a privatization, going private, and a share buyback at a significant premium that is funding secured. And you can make the case, and I think that's one of the problems that the inside lawyers have. They know there's people at the SEC enforcement division saying, okay, is the statement truthful or not? There's a lot of there's good evidence that it probably is not in the strict sense. And does he have animus to certain investors to screw them with that statement? And there probably is.
Professor, with less colorful language than Charlie uses, I mean, what happens to the shareholders in this? I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
So if we back up a minute, it's the funding secured statement that seems to be sticking in Charlie's craw. And for better or for worse,
for everybody's craw, the SEC's craw.
I see Musk's side of it, which is he's talking to a very big player who's giving him some comfort. Let's phrase it like that. Some comfort that funding is in theory secured.
I'll
tell you, I've seen... Well, Twitter apparently only allows for very short statements, right?
He could have said apparently secured. He could have got away with that. Yeah, I'm serious. I know it sounds, I'm being facetious, but if you look at this statement, he could have said, I think I got funding secured, or funding's going to be secured. I put my reputation at risk here. He didn't. He said funding secured.
So again, the legal inquiry is going to be, did he have the intent to deceive, manipulate, or defraud? The intent to defraud. Now, if what you're saying is true, that he was really trying to jack up the short sellers, so to speak, that's one thing. If he was just being sloppy, that's another.
Professor, we got to end it there. We got to let her have the last word.
I think she drives a Tesla. That's why she.
No, my brother drives a Tesla, but I think the Tesla investors are wondering if they've just bought a DeLorean or a Bricklin. Both of you, thank you very much. For those of you who don't know Bricklin, look it up. It's from the 70s.